talking about earnings, let's also chat with an important management. MV Gowtama, the CMD of BEL, joins us now to chat about what transpired in their Q3 performance. Mr. Gowtama, thanks a lot for joining in. We'll straight hit to the numbers. Then tell us what led to a dip in the revenues this time around, and when will they actually stabilize? What's the likelihood and timelines, if you could tell us?
Defense is a peculiar industry, and we used to tell even earlier also that our plan is for meeting the targeted revenues by end of the year. However, we have growth plans even quarter on quarter, and it so happens when we are executing large system integration programs, some of the quarters we may not be getting revenues as we expect for so many reasons. So we are not surprised with the result what we got only in Q3 when we compare Q3 of FY18 with Q3 of FY17. Yes, there was a little dip in revenue, consequently in EBITDA as well as in PBT. PBT, one of the major reason is that we have implemented wage revision for the officers, and we are negotiating with the unionized workers for their wage negotiation, which we are trying to implement before March. It has got some effect which we were predicting in the past also, and these are all as expected. So please wait till Q4, and we certainly are very hopeful that we will have a far better result at the end of the year for FY18.
All right, Mr. Gowtama, your operational performance is strong in the 9 months. But if we look at the quarterly numbers, Q3, there was a bit of margin contraction. So what's the reason? And going forward, what would be the outlook for margins?
Now, this Q3, we had about 8% dip in EBITDA, and good amount of percentage dip, about 17% in the PBT on year-on-year comparison with Q3. However, overall, when we come to Q4, I expect we will be giving the same performance like last year, and I expect EBITDA margins of around 23-24%.
The analysts believe you are on course to sustain lead share in defense electronics business, aiding 30% growth in order book over FY17 to 20. What can we see in terms of your order book?
Beginning of the year, we projected that we expect about 13,000 crores to 16,000 crores orders. And at the end of Q3, we are able to get nearly 6,700 crores of orders, cumulative orders. So the shortfall at this point of time is only because of two major programs which we factored in our order acquisition plan. One of them is 7 squadrons of Akash, and the second one is LR-SAM for P-17 class ships. Both the programs negotiations are going on, and I am confident that at least one of them will materialize. And if any one of them materializes, certainly what we predicted in the beginning of the year, we are going to achieve. So our acquisition will be near to 13,000 if Akash comes, and if LR-SAM comes, it will be near to 16,000 crores.
And so with such large value orders in your pipeline, will this push your total order backlog beyond 50,000 crore, say by end of FY19? And are you confident to clock in an order intake of close to 3 lakh crores during FY18 as well as FY19? Actually, not 3 lakh.
That largely depends on the mix of the programs, what the users are planning for the FY19 and beyond. Certainly at this point of time, we are working on many new programs. We are bidding with a good amount of partnerships for the much larger system programs what users are looking, and we are confident at this point of time. So if you have seen the defense budget announced yesterday by Honorable Finance Minister, the statement from the government is loud and clear that while the requirements are increasing in defense, it has to be met mostly through Made in India. So the growth in the defense budget cannot be met through foreign imports, and it can only be met through indigenous industry with good amount of competition coming in at all levels, and creating a very vibrant SME industry in defense with a good value-based supply chain partnerships.
Actually, Mr. Gowtama, just a slip of tongue by my colleague, she meant 30,000 crore rupees. But anyway, we'll move on. When it comes to the budget, I must ask you, what have you made of the budget specifically for the defense sector? And would you like to have seen more steps perhaps taken in that space?
Yes, the growth given in defense budget is about 7.8% this year, as we all can see it. But the increase what finance minister has given, certainly he has sent a very strong message to the Indian industry that we must compete and bring down the prices of our prices to meet the requirements of the defense. And certainly in the coming years, the costs have to be controlled by every industry with a good supply chain partnership, with good Indian owned IP, and certainly most of the large systems also have to be made in India. So recently the Israeli Prime Minister certainly has shown keenness in establishing good defense ties with India, where the Israeli defense industries can work with Indian companies under JV or MOU, or even start their own operating units here. So the message from government is the defense can grow, but it has to be homegrown henceforth, with a much more competition and addressing the pricing.
Thank you, Mr. Gowtama, for joining us and in detail highlighting how your numbers and how is the outlook going forward when it comes to BEL. Thank you for joining us.